Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to my series, Finesse and Flair, Episode 5. Today, my guest is a marketing and communication CSR specialist. She's a corporate grooming consultant. She's also on the board of advisory for 4 different organizations and NGOs. And that's just one side to her. She also dabbles with drama, with theater, with poetry, dance, modeling, blogging. The list is endless. She's also Mrs. India Universe 2017. She considers herself to be an earth warrior and is an event anchor and trainer. She recently co-authored this book called Words Matter, where the language that girls need to speak is spoken about. Please welcome my dear friend, the very inspirational, the very multi-talented Shreya Krishnan. Welcome, Shreya.
Thank you so much, Bia. Lovely to be a part of this show. I've been watching all the episodes and they've just been amazing. Thank you for bringing us such a variety of people to listen to.
Thank you, Shreya. And I had to bring you into this show because when I think of somebody who's inspirational, think of somebody who totally has her own sense of style, who doesn't follow any trends. I mean, it had to be you. So I said, you have to be a part of this show, come what may. And thank you so much for accepting my invitation and thank you for coming on my show. Really means a lot.
Such a joy to be here. Happy to be talking to you today.
Absolutely. So Shreya, before I start, like I said, the list of the things that you do is absolutely endless. I think you're one person who I know, there's nothing that you don't do. You do so much. And also I know you're a mother, you're a brilliant mother, you're a brilliant wife, you're a brilliant daughter. You are amazing in the work that you're doing in terms of the corporate field. I know you love dancing. I know you have this passion for belly dancing. I know you write beautiful poetry. I know you've been a part of, a lot of, you have your own blog as well called Drama Rani. I know that, you've been into modeling, you've been into acting, you've been into activism as well. So you're so inspirational. And at the same time, I love this whole boho, Indo-Western streak of fashion that you have. It's absolutely amazing. There's so much about you that I love. And that's why you just had to be on my show. You're so inspirational to so many people and to me as well. So thank you. Before I start anything else, I had to tell everybody how much I admire you. And there are so many things to admire about you. It's just unbelievable.
Thank you so much, Bia. I think, when I hear about people say all of this, it sounds very surreal. And, it's like, I just love all the things I do. I think so my passion just flows into everything that I do. And I think that's what keeps me going. So it's very nice when people sort of see it and recognize it for what it is. And it's just like a...
Amazing. Wow. Okay, Shreya, so I wanted to ask
Especially when
you... Sorry, your voice is cracking, Shreya. I can't hear you.
I think it's very...
I can't hear you, Shreya. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Prabhu?
I can't hear you, Shreya.
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Now
Suddenly
I can. Now
we
it's
lost.
It's come back. It's come back. Perfect. Okay, so Shreya, moving on.
You got
I wanted to ask you. Sorry?
Yeah.
You can hear me now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So Shreya, moving on, I wanted to ask you, I mean, I know it, but this is for people who are hearing us. What is your quintessential style?
So I think early on I had decided that I do not like the monochromatic corporate look that most people adopt, and I wanted to sort of infuse my roots. And I also was in the corporate field very early, and I was a young leader. And I turned to saris as a means of, because a sari as a garment has its own way of garnering respect, and it gives you a sense of maturity. So I sort of turned to this sari thinking, I may look older and people may take me more seriously. And it so happened that I just loved it. I grew up in a family of people wearing saris to work all the time. So I adopted the sari and it adopted me. And I think there's been no looking back. So my entire journey has been about Indian looks. I love Indian fabric. I love the fact that we get to wear our heritage in. So, I love Western silhouettes as well. So a lot of my Indo-Western is basically Indian fabric or saris made into Western clothes as well. So you'll
Right.
see me with chunky silver jewelry and saris and cotton most of the time because it's the
Yes.
best fabric to wear in our country. So I think that sort of became my style and very early on, it wasn't a conscious thing. I just started it and it sort of became, part of what I wear and who I am.
I know your love for saris because if you go on to your Insta account, which is your blog Drama Rani, you see so many different pictures in these colorful, bright saris, which I absolutely adore and love. And that obviously, is your style statement. And I also know, Shreya, you're a part of a lot of these sari groups, like I know you've been a part of them promoting saris. And of course, the Indian craftsmanship, all of that, which is absolutely brilliant. Really, really nice.
Yeah, it's saris are like, it's like walk into history, taking a walk into history, because there's so much to every state, every little place, every district has its own weave, has its own story. So it's like a beautiful world of not just the textile or the garment, but the stories of the weavers, the people that make it happen, the people who wear it. So I think there is amazing camaraderie and community sort of feeling for people who wear saris, and the best garment an Indian woman could wear is perhaps the sari. So
Absolutely. Nothing beats the sari. Totally agree with you. The way it makes you feel that elegance and that, sense of being a woman, the minute you don a sari on, it's amazing how it just makes you feel. I totally agree with you on that.
yes.
Completely. So Shreya, since, we've spoken about your quintessential style, is there any person who inspires you with your sense of style? Anybody who has inspired you in the past or still inspires you?
So my inspiration in life has actually come to me from various angles and quarters. So I'm actually inspired by people and their stories. So it's not a one person thing. Like,
Right.
you inspire me in one way and form, and there are so many people we know collectively. So each person can give you inspiration in some form or the other. And I think in terms of style also, I've had so many inspirational moments of acquiring a sense of eclectic, edge. And I also like the fact that people can express themselves through the way they appear. So, I have picked up so much from so many people. So it's like a collective learning thing. You learn, you grow, and, your style also grows. So.
Wow, amazing. Really nice. Awesome. So also, Shreya, I see that, you are a lot into sustainable fashion. Like you said, you love wearing cotton and so what are your thoughts on sustainable fashion since, it's a buzzword nowadays and everybody's talking about it so much?
So I think in the last about 3 years for sure, I have switched to a lot more conscious buying, which is
Mm-hmm.
I ensure that, I buy from brands that are ethical. I ensure that I buy from brands that source. So a sustainable fashion is a difficult, complex, while it's a buzzword, if you have to understand entirely sustainable fashion, it's right from where the cotton was grown and how much water was used.
Exactly.
Cotton takes a lot of water.
Yes.
So it's about going deeper and deeper into it. And I've also reduced my buying entirely. I have a list of brands that pollute the earth that I don't buy from. Actually, my friends who gift me stuff from brands nip off the labels because they're worried where I'll know which label it is and won't wear it. But I think sustainability is a journey. And when you go get on that journey, you realize that there's so much to it. Where is it coming from? Vocal for local, which is running a trend right
Absolutely.
now,
Yeah. Yeah.
has been parents followed all the time. They would buy from a local person, get a tailor to, put it together. So Indian fashion has always been sustainable because saris can be passed on to anybody. They
Generation down.
stay.
Yeah.
Saris, yeah.
Absolutely.
So saris actually stay. So I think the fact that you buy locally, you buy from weavers, you get your stuff done by somebody who you have a direct access to be conscious about what brands you buy from. There are a series of brands now that do very interesting work in sustainability, in ethical, sourcing and all of that. So it's an entire world in itself, and I've just started, I'm at about 3 years now into it, and I'm still learning. So, but I make a conscious choice to be aware all the time and to ensure that I, repeat my clothes, rewear my saris, rewear my blouses, mix and match it together. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
As
so
long as we're all doing a little bit of,
yes,
being a part of conscious buying and ethical fashion and sustainable fashion, I think we are on the right track.
absolutely, yes.
So any sort of, anything you'd like to tell the new generation? What are your thoughts on fashion for the new generation? Any tips you'd like to give them?
So I think to follow a trend is something anybody can do, right? Because you can pick up off the rack and you can
And
just
just wear it,
wear
absolutely.
and trend and you're in vogue. But what happens when fashion becomes personal, inimitable style is you leave the trend behind you and you take your style statement wherever you go. And that
Yeah,
is what marries into your personality. So if youngsters are looking at fashion, I think they need to realize that fashion has a sense of fashion or style comes from within.
within.
Because it's not sustainable to buy. There are 41 seasons, I think, in a year where new clothes come and hit the stands. And, the quality of clothes that come out today are also not great because people want you to buy more. So, it's about making it work. It's about being sassy and slaying the look without really having to burn a hole in any pocket. You don't really have to spend a lot of money. You just have to figure out style and play with it. And you do some really interesting things about, repurposing the same
Yeah.
garment, same necklace.
Clusters and yeah, yeah.
You do that so beautifully. So I think there's a lot to learn about how do you maximize what you have before you reach out and say I want to go with the trend, because that anybody can do.
Absolutely. So agree with you, Shreya. Absolutely. As long as, like I said, we all do our bit, that's what's important. So,
Yeah.
Shreya, before we end, just a little thing that you remember about us, anything that comes to your mind when we think we have met so many times. We've been to Udaipur together and, we've been a part of Corporate Diva. That's where I met you the first time. So anything that kind of stands out when you talk about us together?
So I have a visual memory, and I remember the clothes also that you've worn at every single point in time when we've met. But what stays in my memory is one time we met for lunch and we both sat and must have had a 3-hour
Yeah.
conversation where we were just on a flow, just chatting about everything that came into our.
Everything.
I think genuine, heartwarming people who mean well for others are very few, and you're one of those people. So I cherish the bond we have, and it's not like we meet ever so often or talk ever so often, but whenever we do,
Whenever we
we pick
do.
up right where we left off, and it's
Absolutely.
women who want to champion other women, because I am one, and I see you doing such amazing work, and it just makes me feel so good because I know your heart is in the right place and you have fabulous brains to go with it and all of the sass and coolness also. So I remember that afternoon very, very nicely and
I
clear.
remember that really well too. I remember that lunch so, so well. It just
Yeah.
carried on. I think we were, after a while, I think we were actually thrown out of that place because we didn't even
Yeah.
know the place had shut down. And we carried on and on. I remember that lunch so vividly in my memory. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shreya. That really, really means a lot. Thank you so much for taking out time. I know you're a super busy woman. I know you have your hands in a lot of pies. I know you're doing too much at the moment. And I was actually skeptical whether you'll actually have time to do this for me. So really, really means a lot. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Ria, for doing this for me.
Entirely my pleasure, and keep doing the amazing work you're doing there. Love,
Thank you, Shreya.
watching. I feel so much pride in when I see it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for coming on my show. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.